couple things today. I am going to go down to hands and knees. And I know I don't do that very often. So there's a few of you who, when we go down to that final sequence on the floor, if you choose to stay in your chair because hands and knees, like wrists and knees, don't like being on the floor, feel free. But the alternative would be to have like just a couple folded blankets so that you could use those under your knees and your wrists. So I'm going to have that accessible for myself today. There we go. So how's everyone doing? And with Thanksgiving, we ushered in our new season.
Yeah.
I think that was the hard freeze that all those leaves might finally go.
Yeah, all the flowers are so nice and now they'll be gone.
Yeah, but we got till October 12th. That was pretty impressive.
Was good.
Yeah. Okay, I'm muting you all. 25 people here so far today. Nice work. Feel free to pin my video. In the top left corner is a pin, and then you will do it, or go up to speaker view, and then you'll see me mostly talking. There we go. Yeah, all right. Socks on and everything today. It's chilly. All right, settle your bum into your chair. Paddle your feet a little bit on the floor until you find that spot where you feel like they land. Notice the distance between your sit bones grounding and the crown of your head. Take a nice deep breath and exhale. Perhaps even let your eyes close. Feel the next breath drawing through your nose. Notice how it's possible to sort of settle into your body. Drawing your awareness from the external world into your internal world. Just noticing that beautiful expansion of breath. And release of breath. Feel that breath oscillate in the body, noticing how far it reaches. Perhaps you're noticing the quality of that breath today. Lift your shoulders right up towards your ears and then roll them down your back. And do that a few times. Just a nice inhale and then followed by that exhale. As the shoulders slide down the back body, start to notice the distance between your collarbone where it connects to the sternum, to the breastbone, and the distance outward toward your shoulder. And as you feel that front side of your body expanding, feel the shoulders just relax down the back body. And so this next one, I think I might even come closer so that you guys can maybe see a little bit better. But I want you to take, it's almost like you're going to take the shoulder blades and then roll them forward and roll them back. But I want you to imagine that the shoulder blades are lifting, they elevate, and then they help sort of push forward. And then you try and roll them backwards without elevating them again. So it's rolling forward, rolling back. Really thinking of the shoulder blade itself sliding on those back ribs. Yeah. So it's not this really hike up to ears motion. It's really subtle down here. And those shoulders roll back. So there's a couple of you I'm thinking of with shoulder issues in the room. And if we could get those shoulder blades to really help us out. Okay, so now shoulder blades are going to roll down and back. And then think of your elbows lifting up to the side and then the elbows coming down again. Elbows lifting up to side. So see in my video, when I lift the elbows up, the whole shoulder girdle is not lifting up. Okay, so the elbows are going outward and then coming back in again. But this isn't happening, right? It's not, yeah. So it's like you're going to try to allow the arm mobilization to happen without the shoulders operating as like one solid unit. We're going to try and take these pieces apart a little bit. Good. So that feels good. And now hands can come up to center a bit and you're going to go this way. So you're feeling the shoulder blades squeeze together and then come back together. Make sure you're adding breath to this. Yeah, there you go. So shoulder blades squeeze, shoulder blades come out forward. What I want you to watch is when you squeeze the shoulder blades, these bottom ribs don't flare forward, right? They don't flare forward. So shoulder blades, yeah, and then they squeeze. So when you think about bringing them forward, think about pulling them away from your spine and then squeezing them towards your spine. Yeah. Nice work. Good. So then take your hands together and do this motion. Just getting some wrist work in there. Good. And then palms come together. And then as you go to point them down, you're going to roll to the back of the palms pressed together and then roll them back up to the tops, the palms press. Back of the hand, palms. Back of the hand. Deep breaths. Whichever way you are circling, just change directions now. Sweet. And then put that hand straight out in front of you, hold on to the fingers and gently pull them back towards you. Opposite hand faces forward and up. Just hang on to those fingers and gently drag them back towards you. Nice work. And now you're going to think of these elbows, these elbow pits. Okay, so they turn to face the floor and then they turn up. So if things are feeling really healthy and happy in your shoulders still, the arms could be quite high, not higher than shoulders. But if the shoulders are feeling achy after all those work, then let the elbow pit exercise happen down here. It doesn't matter. You're really thinking of rotating those shoulders still. So you can see how our movement when we practice that elbow pit is going right back to that first movement we practiced. Yeah. Nice. Okay, so now you're in a swimming pool and you're practicing backstroke. You lead with your pinky finger back, and then you lead with your pinky finger back. And again, you might be trying to backstroke where this arm goes right up alongside your ear as if you were really in the swimming pool. And if your shoulders don't like it, then you're practicing out here. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Good. Drop those down and then just do 3 shoulder rolls backwards again. Sometimes when you start trying to work into those shoulders, if they're really sticky, then your neck starts to get tight. So now let's release any tension that the neck might have been taking to try and help us there. Take your right ear to your right shoulder. Right ear to right shoulder. And then your right hand can just come up and come to the side of your head. Left hand reaches down as if you're trying to stretch that hand towards the floor. And just feel that alongside your neck. Yeah. I'm going to move my hand a bit further back on my skull. Now, change. So release this hand. Take the left hand and just set it on the side of your head. Push your head into your palm. And just resist. Your palm's pressing the head down, going, no, you're not going to move. And then when you release, feel your head float back up to center. Ooh. Can tell we did one side of the neck. Let's do the other side. Left ear to left shoulder. And then this hand comes up and is just a dead weight. Reach your right hand down towards the floor. Nice stretch through that. And I might play with where my palm rests on my skull just to see different points. More tenderness on this side, on my neck, on this side. Nice. Good. So when I release that hand, I'm going to put the palm of my right on my right head, right side of my head, and then press my head upward, resisting with my hand, pushing my head downward. So nothing moves, but both the head and the palm are pushing against each other. Good. And release. Ooh. Sometimes you're wondering if that makes it stickier or easier. Chin tucks into chest. Fingers, it's more your fingers now than the palm of your hand. Fingers come to the back of the skull. Push your head back into the fingers. Push the fingers into the head. Nice long breath. And release. Good. Now this time you lift your chin as high up as it will go comfortably. 3 fingers on the forehead. Hand is almost trying to press the head back further. Head's pushing up into the fingers. Yeah, keep breathing. Keep breathing and then release. Okay, so now just shake your head a bit, nod it, maybe do a couple circles. Just notice how we have checked into our neck there. Yeah, 3 shoulder rolls again with those shoulders. Good. So everything's feeling kind of nice now. Head, neck, shoulders. Let's get into the rib cage here. I'll come back to my chair. So once you get into the rib cage, we'll do some side bends. So your side bends can happen with your hands here. You could also put one hand down and one hand can come up. And you could also go all the way over. So just do what you need to do. You know that if you've got a sore arm, just one arm can do the swinging and the other arm can stay here. Yeah. So breathe in and breathe out. For me, the inward always brings me back to the middle, and the exhale always allows me to do the side bend. But you decide what's best for you. Yeah. Long, slow breath. Yeah. Okay, we're going to do one more on this side, one more on the left. Coming back to center. Sweet. And then we'll do some twists. So same thing here. You can twist with hands on rib cage, hands on center, back to center, twist, breathe in. Exhale, breathe in. Twist, breathe in. The sit bones are anchored. You can feel the hips are still. The rib cage is turning on the spine. You can feel, excuse me, you can feel the muscles down the middle of your back doing all the work. The side ribs getting the stretch. So good. Nice. When you release from that, your hands can come to the ends of your knees, but make sure that you are forward in your chair, that you're not really pushed back far. Hands come to the ends of the knees. And then your spine arches, your chin tucks. Inhale, broaden the collarbones on the inhale. So think about that movement of collarbones broadening as you breathe in, and then kind of closing in your chest as you breathe out. Lifting and broadening the collarbones. Feel the shoulder blades slide down your back body as you come into that chest lift. If cat pose was the back arched, then cow pose would be the chest lifted. Chest lift. Yeah. Breathe up and down your spine. Knowing that it's your breath really that's moving through the invitation of the movement, allowing the breath to just break up any pieces of discomfort in the body. Yeah. In the spine. There's an in breath, and then there's an out breath. An in breath and an out breath. Nice work. And then come back to center. Your bum still settled on your chair. Nice. Knees can open wider. Fingers to the ends of those knees. One shoulder comes down into the middle, and then lift yourself back up again. There's a breath. It doesn't matter to me which one is your inhale here, which one's your exhale. So you're just noticing in your own body that when you move one direction, you follow the breath. And then the opposite side of your breath takes you the opposite direction. Nice. Good. Coming back up to center, and then bring your knees together in front of you. Sit tall, spine to ceiling, shoulders roll down the back. You're broad across those collarbones. Lift up your right knee, and then extend the foot out in front of you, and then set it down again. So lift left knee, extend foot, bring it down, and then just continue. Take my socks off. Yeah. You're trying to make sure you do this with your leg muscles. So when you lift that knee and foot off the ground, if you round into your back, try and avoid doing that. Try and keep the spine really tall, even as you try and extend the leg out in front of you. There's the challenge. Good. Okay, bring everything back to center. Let's do one more, just really getting into the feet before we stand up. I think I need to be a bit further back for you. You're going to turn knees to the right on your chair. Your left bum cheek comes off the edge of the chair. Right foot grounds. Left foot slides back behind you. Okay? So I want you to be settled enough that the right bum cheek's there. Right foot's on the chair. Push and release through that back heel. You're not going so far that I can see anything happening in the upper body. It's just happening across that front side of your hip. Maybe in the bum cheek, maybe in the quad. Yeah, okay, so release that. Front foot's grounding, back ball of the foot grounds, come up and back down. Your hand is on the back of the chair. Up and down. A couple of you are prepping for curling season, so this is good work. Nice. Good enough on that side. Sweep that back foot forward again. Feel that you've just done in that thigh. Let's take the feet all the way over to the other side. Okay, right foot reaches back behind you. Do those little heel presses. And it doesn't matter how far the foot extends. You put it where it works for you. It's this front side down to the knee that's taking some work here. My front foot doesn't feel like it's completely on the floor yet. So then you might be doing this from the heel, from the ankle. I saw my internet was unstable in my back. Thumbs up. You guys can hear me again? Good. All right. Bring yourself back to center. Let's get ready to stand. So I'm going to pull my heels in a little bit closer. Hands can come to the ends of the knees. If you know you don't need your arms, you're welcome to bring them up here. I want you to lean the top body forward. Really feel your weight right down through the soles of your feet. Press into those feet and let yourself come up. Those fingers can come into the legs and then come all the way up to standing. Good work. Nice. Coming all the way up to standing then, those hands can come up to the ceiling and exhale down to your heart. Do 3 of those. Inhale up to the ceiling, exhale down to the heart. Up to the ceiling and down to the heart. Good job. And then standing behind your chair. Taking a step back with your right foot, push that heel down into the ground. Imagine that we're coming to this hip crease. So if somebody had like a belt, a yoga strap, and they put that yoga strap around the bottom of my hips, like right at the top of my thigh bone, and they started pulling that yoga strap behind me, just feel how you would tip the spine forward. It's coming from there. This is where the fold happens. The whole spine comes down really flat. Yes. Feel the stretch in both legs. Notice which sensation hits you first. See if you can soften your breath into that sensation and not hold your breath. Coming all the way up. So do that a couple times, really feeling the lift of the tailbone. Really feeling like your pelvis here is rocking on the top of the leg bones. So your spine doesn't feel like it's moving. The legs don't feel like they're moving. But this fulcrum, these hips of yours are moving. Good. Last one. Coming back up. Gentle bend into both knees. Step forward with the right foot, back with the left. Heel plants. Same deal. Yeah, I like the visual of some sort of like rope kind of going around the bottom of the hips and just pulling backwards so that I'm folding forward over something that's tractioning backwards. And just feel that in your body. Can you breathe? Can you release your breath? Can you feel the sensation of stretch and breathe softly, smoothly? And then allow yourself to sort of come back up. Thinking that your legs are straight and your spine is straight, that the fulcrum of movement is your pelvis. Every time you move, you're putting some WD-40 in those hips, some rhetorical WD-40 in your hips. Or maybe that's not right, metaphorical. There we go. Putting some metaphorical WD-40 in your hips. All right, come up, knees bend, step forward. Good job. Okay, so this time step back, but if you can, ball of your foot. Those of you who can't, you're just taking a bigger step back with the heel on the ground. Okay? Front knee bends, front knee straightens. Front knee bends and straightens. Good. So some of you can stay right here, hands on the back of the chair. Some of you can add arms, those elbows open, elbows close, open. So it's the same movement we did when we were at the very beginning of class when you were seated. Good. I shouldn't wear a white sweatshirt against a white wall, hey? It's not very easy to see. And then come forward, bend into your knees, step forward. The tricks of filming that I never consider. Drop into that front knee again, and then just start to work the opposite knee. So we've changed legs, stepped back with the left, right knee bends. This time as you choose, if you're gonna add arms, the elbows kind of lift up to the sky when you're bending that front knee. Yeah, shoulder blades spin on your back body. All right, and if you don't want to do that, you're welcome to stay with your hands on the chair. Good. And last one, hands to chair. Step that back foot forward. Here we go. Walk back, nice flat back stretch. Bend into your knees, push your bum away. Head faces down. Reach the shoulders away from the ears. Just flatten as much as it feels good and come back up again. Sweet. Right foot just starts to reach back behind you, like you're pushing something away from you. You can't go very far without kind of bending forward. So think about how far you could go keeping the spine upright. Let's change legs. Reach back, reach back, reach back. Yeah, good work. Nice, and then that's done. Let's do sideways. So don't go so far that there's like a ripple through the whole body. It's just little. You can micro bend if there's any strain happening in the standing leg knee. Other leg. Paddle that out. You guys know me, I like to get your legs feeling really solid, really strong. Other side. Yeah, good. Lots of movement in those hips and release. Nice. So now just sort of wobble it out a bit. Maybe let yourself do some big hula hoop circles. Nice. Good. Good. Yeah, that feels good in the hips. All right. I'm going to stand so that I can still hold the chair with my right hand. Okay? So however that works, and you can still see my video. Take a step so that those legs are just wider than hip width apart, and then turn your right toes to face the chair. Kick your hips all the way out to the left. Top hand on hip. Do that a couple times where you're really thinking of it going sideways, but not turning the body at all, just sideways. If there's any strain in the front knee, you got to move your toes kind of forward a bit, not quite angle them straight to the chair, like that. The foot would have to move. Good. Nice. Line up the spine, tailbone to crown, nice long straight line. Shoes if your top arm might lift. Breathe and rotate your chest 1 degree towards the ceiling. High. Long breaths here. Long breaths. Release the top hand. Push from the left hips back into center. Buoyancy in the knees, and step the feet together. Okay, for me, I'm going to move my chair over to the other side. Left hand can touch the chair. Left toes turn to face the chair. feet slightly wider than hip width. Kick my hips out to this other side. Hand on the hip. Shoulders roll. Rib cage rolls. Nice work. Choose if that top hand wants to lift or not. Notice what's different on the right than the left side. Breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Sweet. And then that left hip, or sorry, this is my right hip, pushes everything back into center. Buoyant knees. Step your feet together. Good work. So just roll back and forth on the bottoms of your feet, like you're giving them a little massage. You're going to roll up on toward the tippy toes, back towards the heel. The hips can totally sway back and forth. You can be hanging onto the chair. This one's harder to see for sure. I want you to roll to the outside of the feet and the inside of the feet, like you're going back and forth this way. Yeah. I don't think it's possible for me to even see you guys, but nice. Okay, and then back to center. Let's come up onto tippy toes, dropping down again. When you come up onto tippy toes, imagine that your thighs are zipped together. The knees can be bent if they want to be bent. Sweet work. Ha. Okay, one balance pose. Then we'll go to the floor or back to our chairs. All right. For our balance pose today, right now I'm going to have my left hand on the chair, so I'll lift my right leg. Left leg stays nice and stable. I'm getting my right heel soft on the ground. I'm noticing the transition of weight into the left side. And I'm noticing if any weight, extra weight went into that hand. Soften your shoulders, relax your neck, and then notice if that right knee will lift. Or maybe just you can come onto tippy toes. And then I want you to do this movement. Sweeping. So the knee opens and comes back in again. And opens and comes back in again. Yeah. So you're trying to keep this opposite hip really still. Both pelvis sides are not moving, so it's only the leg bone. Oh, that feels good. Bring it down. Now you might need to shift which side your chair is on or how you're orienting to your chair. My right hand will hold. Wobble that out. Okay, right foot is going to hold you up. Soften your shoulders. Relax your neck. Left heel gets light, lifts up. You can be circling the toe on the floor here, or you can lift knee and open to the side. Remember the butterfly wing movements we were doing in the arms and shoulders? Same kind of movement in the hips, except for the pelvis stays still. Some of you might feel like some muscles in the low back are pulling this. You might drop your knee a little bit if that's the case. Yeah. Good. And then come back to center. Hips sway side to side a little bit. We'll do one more here. Nice long stretch. Sweet. All right. So I'm going to move the chair and it's going to become part of my sort of pathway to the floor. But I also want you to consider that idea of something underneath my wrists and something underneath my knees. If you can see. Pretty soon I'm going to be so good, I'll have a videographer, so I won't have to be the one coming to change the viewpoint. So as you're coming down, you can use this chair as much as you want. You can let yourself drop onto that first blanket, and then you can step your knees back till they're on that second blanket. Bring your wrists down. Yeah. So what I find with the blankets is that the knees like it right underneath the knees, but the wrists, the whole point of the blanket for the wrists is that so that they're not flat. They don't actually like being at 90 degrees. They like being lifted. So if there's any way you could lift the blanket just underneath your wrists and plant the fingers into the ground, but let the heel of the palm be on the blanket, that's usually what's more comfortable for wrists. Know that you can switch to a fist and press down to a fist anytime you want. So think of those shoulder blades again. I want you to imagine that the shoulder blades stay where they are and you let your body come down away from the shoulder blades and then you press your body into the shoulder blades. Yeah, so it is not a push-up, but you're just messing in that upper back. It's also not a collapse into the shoulders, okay? So you're lowering without collapsing and you're pressing up and lowering. Just if that word collapse resonates with you, be careful, okay? And now I'm gonna let my bum go backwards and bring it back up again. So for this exercise, imagine that you had a hockey stick tied to your back. I wonder how flat I can get my back there. So as I go down and up, I really want the movement to be in my joints of my knees, hips, wrists, and shoulders. So my back stays relatively still. Good. Good. Okay, gonna make it a little bit harder here. Take your right hand and reach it out in front of you. Your chair's in the way. You might need to shift a little bit so that your arm can go out. Okay, I'm gonna move closer so that I'm not in the way. Arm can come out. Opposite arm can come out. Good. Right heel. If you're seated in a chair, just do whatever movement works. Right heel, left heel. Nice. Now see, it's opposite hand and heel. Right hand, left leg, come down. Left hand, right leg, come down. Nice work. Good. So now we'll do cat-cow with the back. Same sort of deal as when we were seated. Feel the tailbone and the head curl under, chin to chest. Open up across the collarbones as your tailbone and head lift to the sky. And then curl back in again. Use your breath to just bring ease into this pose. Good. Yikes. Okay, I've only got one more on hands and knees. You guys will be happy to know. So right foot reaches back behind me and my left toes kind of have to reach back. And then maybe your right arm can lift all the way up. Maybe it just comes up to hip. Maybe you just play. Can my hand leave the ground a little bit? Bring my body sideways. Okay, change legs. We'll do the other side. This time it's my left leg that reaches back behind me. Right hand that reaches for the sky. Okay, let yourself down. Sweet work. All right, before I go to the floor anymore, I might need to rearrange my blankets. I definitely want to sit on one of them. So I'm going to reach over. I'm going to fold my wrist blanket in half so that I can curl over, sitting on one blanket so that I can reach my legs out in front of me. If you're at home right now and you could sit on a couch with like a footstool in front of you, same kind of deal, right? It could that movement, or if you're on a chaise or yeah, anything where you could extend your feet. If we were in yoga class, this is where I put bolsters underneath your feet if you were seated. Good. Nice. So think about making your spine really tall, even as the legs are out in front of you. Feel like you can pull those toes back towards you, and even that gives you a stretch in the backs of your legs. So there's two things happening in the backs of your legs. Feel like they're stretched just here, and the spine gets nice and tall. Good. We'll do a bit of a twist here. So you're going to bend your knees, okay? And take your hands to the floor behind you and just let those knees start to go side to side. So notice my hips aren't moving. Notice my upper body is not moving. Just my leg bones. Now, if I were to let my knees go further, then one bum cheek comes off, which is good. Stretch with that hand. Bring the left hand back. Knees come to center. They go the other way. Stretch with the right hand. Come back. Knees come to center. We'll do one more on each side. I've got to adjust my bum because it's falling off my blanket. Knees go right. Left hand stretches. Stretch. Come back. Knees come to center. Knees go left. Right hand stretches. Good work. Coming all the way back. So you can even feel that work, wrists backwards. It's almost unusual the way we live our lives for our wrists to continue to take that work. So that was a lot. You might want to do some hand rolls here. And if it's more comfortable for knees to be bent, you can bend them. Some of you might find that cross-legged is comfortable. I don't think that's very many of us. Yeah, some of you will find that that's better. Yeah. Press those backs of those palms together. Just anything that helps them feel like you're relaxing them. You might even be able to push the backs of your hands down into the floor. Nice work. Sweet. So whichever position you're in, see if you can come to a wide-legged spread legs, and then my bum comes right to the edge of my blanket. Good. Inhale those arms up, turn to face the right leg, fold left, inhale up, turn right, fold. Good. So you're breathing here. Just your arms can be as fluid as they want to be. The arms can be folded over your chest if things feel tight. Just start to notice how everything's connected now. We've got the shoulders and the arms connected to the rib cage and the neck. Good work. Good work. All right. Heels can come together. One knee bends. Take a nice tall spine and just windmill the right arm back into the floor behind you. Left fingers hug the knee and gently twist. Chin releases, shoulders release, ribs release, belly. Yeah, other side. That knee comes up. Right hand holds, left hand reaches back. Nice tall spine. Turn the belly, turn the ribs. Right shoulder comes forward, left shoulder pulls back, chin follows back, shoulder, breathe deep. Breathe deep. And then chin, shoulders, ribs, everything. Good. All right. As I come all the way down to the floor, you decide what you might need for support. One of those blankets can definitely be a pillow. For some of you, that second blanket you might keep to put underneath your hips or low back, or you might spread it out and have it be a nice soft layer between you and the floor, you and your yoga mat. And then you can come down. So lots of you have been here a lot. If you want to use this chair, you're more than welcome to. you can set it up so it's there. It might not be the first thing that we do. We're going to do a little bit of work on the floor first. Once you're here, you just let yourself settle. Let your head release. Know that if there's like, if this pelvis, there's a few things, especially with a blanket. Some people I find, if they could just have that under the low back, everything settles. Every little, like that's the support your body needs. For some people, it's honestly just the tailbone. If the tailbone could just get like a tiny little lift, then that's what it needs. And for some people, it's like a full extra roll right at that lumbar spine, right where the arch of the low back is. So that's how you might be playing with your blanket right now, is to just be messing with how it connects into your low back. Finding the position that it's most comfortable. Good. Hands come to ceiling. I want you to think here of your shoulder blades again. So your shoulder blades are going to press down into the floor, and then you feel like you peel them up off the floor, and then you set them down again. So notice the collarbones on the front side of the body. I want you to keep those collarbones broad, resting, even as the shoulder blades do this work. They peel off the floor, they sink back down. They peel off the floor, they sink back down. Nice work. Elbows open and lift. For some of you, that movement is just going to be too much. So you're just going to stay here, up and down. And now let's bring hands to rest. Take your right knee out, bring it back in. Take your left knee out to the side, bring it back in. Hard to see this on camera. So you're doing one knee drop at a time, right knee, left knee. The rest of the body stays really still. Good. Finish that. And then your hands come back up to the sky. They start to fall back and they come forward. So you release them and then bring them forward. You release them, thumbs towards the floor, and then bring them up to the sky again. Breathe here. Keep your low ribs soft. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Rest those arms. Now bring your right knee into your chest. Give it a squeeze. If it's available, you're going to point and flex the toes and then move the ankle. Take the ankle in circles. Squeeze the toes together, spread them wide, and release that foot. Other side. Point and flex. Feel the movement at the ball of the foot. Feel the top stretch of the calf and the top of the foot. Move from the ankle. Perhaps you're going to do circles now, both clockwise and counterclockwise. Good. Nice. If both knees pulled into the chest and you could just roll on your back a little bit. Make sure you're still breathing. Harder to do if you're in a chair, this one. Just do seated. If you're in a chair, you're just going to sit up and then roll your spine in circles instead of your knees in circles. Good. Okay, so coming back down, you can choose now if you leave your knees just tented in together. Some of you might let your legs drop straight. Some of you might put those feet on a chair. If I was going to put mine on a chair, I really want my knees to be supported. So I want my chair to be close enough that those knees kind of nestle in. So you choose that. And taking a nice deep breath. Do it again, letting the exhale slide out of your mouth. Resume breathing through your nose. Allow the breath now to stretch into your fingertips and toes. Feel how effortlessly it your breath into all the corners of your body has just softened and relaxed. Couple more breaths here. When your mind wanders, your only job is to find it, gently draw it back to become an observer of your inhale and exhale. Nice work. So just taking a nice deep breath again. Starting to wiggle your fingers and toes. Take those wrists and ankles one more time and just roll them around, whether seated or lying down. Roll yourself over. You can gently bring yourself up to seated into that chair or on the floor. Sweet work. Just roll those shoulders a couple times. Feel the new mobility in them today. Good. Thank you so much for sharing your practice. Namaste.